Hi, I'm Michelle Caffrey, author of Bring Jade Home and Jade Lost in Yellowstone. I'm going to read from Jade Lost in Yellowstone. This is a story of a young Australian shepherd who escaped her broken pet carrier and roamed Yellowstone National Park for 44 days, 3 times longer than any other previous lost dog. Just 15 months old, Jade was still a puppy, but yet she found enough food and water to survive. I've dedicated this to all those who have had lost pets and found them. Laura and her friend David were taking a trip to Yellowstone National Park. Riding in their carriers were Layla and Jade, their 2 Australian Shepherd puppies. You can see them in the car. Laura laughed. "This vacation is for the dogs. They've become best buddies," David agreed. Jade barked in the back. David sighed. "She wants out of her carrier, and it's tough getting her back in." Laura trained dogs. You have to coach her with treats. And you can see they are best friends. This is Jade, and this is Layla. "We've seen lots of elk and bison, but no moose yet," Laura said. "No, and no bears either. Well, we know they're out there, along with the mountain lions, coyotes, and wolves," Laura added. "The park looks better now that the wolves are back and the natural ecology has returned." David pointed at the flourishing trees and streams. You can see stuff to a beautiful beaver in the stream here. Suddenly, an oncoming truck swerved right into them. With a bang, the car slammed to a stop. Jade fell hard against her crate. She barked at David, but he didn't answer. David was knocked unconscious, and Laura was hurt. Jade and Layla whimpered. You can see. Jade's plastic carrier broke in the crash. Arms grabbed for her. Rangers were trying to help, but Jade didn't know them. Ignoring the rangers' calls, she leapt past them. Jade zigzagged across the meadow and ran into the woods to hide. In the hospital, David got a call from the rangers. Jade was missing. And you can see she ran. She was so afraid. That night, feeling very alone in the strange woods, Jade wondered where David was. She had sniffed at the side of the road and picked up his scent. Then the trail ended. Darkness came. Jade was too tired to search any longer. She curled onto a bed of pine needles and underneath the tall trees. Hoo! Hoo! Jade woke to a strange sound. She smelled the blood of prey and knew the huge bird she saw was hunting. She wasn't afraid and stood up and growled. The owl ruffled his feathers and flew off into the night. He was hunting, but not Jade. In the morning, Jade was thirsty. She followed her nose to a bubbling stream where she drank and drank. Later, Jade looked for David along the road. She came up to the other parked cars, but then ran away. Those people weren't her family. David and Laura left the hospital the next morning to look for Jade. They called and whistled for her, but the puppy did not hear them. David hated to leave without finding Jade, but he had to get more treatment for his injuries. He cried. Jade's tummy growled. She tried to eat a pine cone like she saw other critters doing. Yuck! Not too tasty. That night, lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, and rain drenched Jade's thick coat. Shivering, she dreamt of home. David, her warm bed, puppy chow, and her toys. She wanted to go home. And there she is dreaming about David. How she missed him. One morning, Jade ran towards some funny-looking animals in the clearing. She wanted to nip at the elk's legs and round them up like cattle, but their big antlers warned her off. Jade watched the elk graze. She ate some grass, but it made her belly ache. Jade saw a critter she recognized. She chased them at home, but never caught one. She didn't chase this squirrel either as it raced up a tree. It sat on a branch, chirping at her. 4 days missing. At the edge of the woods, Jade smelled food. She ran toward a bone she saw lying on the grass. Meat, just like at home. But then 2 odd-looking dogs jumped out of the brush, snarling. The coyotes growled and snapped. Jade dashed away. She hid behind a pine tree and watched them hunt. There she is with the bone, and there she is watching them hunt. Later, Jade tried to hunt. The mice slipped away no matter how fast she ran, how she wanted some puppy chow. Days passed, and Jade was so hungry. She ate grass and any berries she could find. Then one day, she saw a dead chipmunk in the road. She ran out, grabbed it, and took it back into the woods to eat. A road construction crew stopped her and called the park rangers. The lost dog is thin, they said, but still alive. She'd run out for some roadkill. 3 weeks had passed since the crash. David and Laura drove back to Yellowstone to look for Jade again. Discouraged, David wondered if they should give up. Yellowstone was so big. He sees a lost dog poster for Jade that somebody had put up looking for her. A woman named Kat Brecken called them the next day. I work in Yellowstone, and I want to help you find your dog, Jade. We haven't had any luck, David said. She's been gone for weeks. As long as people still see Jade, I'll look for your little girl, Kat said, and we'll get more people to help. David and Laura felt a little bit of hope. And there again, the posters are being put up by all the volunteers looking for Jade. Look, a dog. One day, people in a car spotted Jade. She did not recognize these humans. They weren't her family. She used to be friendly, but ever since the accident, she was afraid of strangers. Jade ran away. But then Jade caught a whiff of something familiar. David's scent. It led her through a meadow with huge, shaggy beasts. A male bison pawed the ground, giving Jade a warning. Jade kept back as he led his herd away. They left behind mounds of fresh poop. Jade's mouth watered. It wasn't as good as meat, but it was food. And you can see her smelling it. As Jade rounded a hill, she spotted 2 puppies gnawing a bone. She ran toward them, eager for company. They wagged their tails. Jade wiggled her rear and smiled. Grrr! Jade jumped. The mother wolf was twice Jade's size. She snarled, but then sniffed the cowering Aussie. The wolf gave Jade a motherly nuzzle and loped away with her pups. Jade chewed on a bone the wolves had left behind. A raven watched her and then gave a loud croak and flew off. The raven flew towards a village. Curious, Jade followed her to the wrecked SUV. She smelled David, his friend Laura, and her dog buddy Layla. She waited for them, hiding in the nearby tall grass. A woman getting gas at the Canyon Village service station spotted Jade in the tall grass nearby. That dog should be on a leash, the woman thought. As she moved closer to Jade, she realized the puppy was an Aussie. Then Jade ran away. In the search for Jade, rangers set out traps near Canyon Village. Jade smelled the traps. Her mouth watered from the dog food they put inside, but the wire cage made her suspicious. To aid in the search, Kat Brecken needed something with Jade's owner's scent, so she asked David to mail some dirty clothes to her. She hoped that putting the clothes out in the area Jade was seeing would attract her. And here you see some of David's clothing. I love Ozzy's and his underwear. Jade sniffed the air, but she was too far away to smell David's clothes. Instead, she smelled fresh meat just beyond the meadow. She ran for it. Yum! Ooh, look at that beautiful face and those blue eyes. Roar! A huge beast lunged forward, protecting its food. Jade sprinted away, the grizzly close behind. With one big leap, she dove inside a hollow log. Her heart pounded as the bear clawed at the wood with a paw as big as Jade's head. There's the grizzly roaring, and there he is, trying to get Jade, who's hiding in the log. Then Jade and the bear heard people, and the bear ran away. Jade ran from the log and hid in the tall grass of the nearby meadow. It's another good picture of Jade. David, Laura, and Layla had come back to Yellowstone for one more try to find Jade before winter set in. Kat says they've seen Jade near here, said Laura. I think I see something. It could be Jade, David shouted excitedly. Whoa. It's not Jade. Spoiler alert. Just then, a big bear came out of the woods. Laura stepped on the gas and sped down the bumpy road. Whew! Laura watched as the bear stopped. That was close. I hope Jade was nowhere near that bear. David was worried. I can see it. Whoa. Chased. Laura and David drove to an area where Jade was last seen. They sat in a meadow, hoping Jade would smell David and come to him. We've done this for 2 days, David grumbled, discouraged. I get the feeling she's just watching us, but won't come. We have to be patient, like Kat told us. And remember, the poster has tips to help. Jade pointed to the flyer. There's all kinds of tips here on finding a missing dog. Things like, Jade is skittish. Do not chase her. If you see Jade, try to entice her to you. Sit quietly and allow her to approach you. She may be inclined to approach people with other dogs. However, dogs must be on a leash at all times. Do not use her name. This seems to scare her. Use "here, puppy," and then they give information. If you've seen Jade, where to call, where to find information about her. So many people